There we are.
There it is. Welcome to the Taco Tuesday, where we discuss fitness, good food, and everything in between. Success in every sense of your being: body, mind, spirit, and heart. I'm Rebecca.
I'm Nick.
I'm Brandon. our, uh,
And
our our goal with these talks, guys, is to provide high value information and some actions. The big thing for me is actions, giving you guys something that you can take, that you can do. Um, so stay till the end. We usually address that toward the end. So stick around so you can get those things that you can actually do to make those changes happen that we talk about. Like us, love us. Tell us you're here. Give us a like. Let us know you can hear us with a quick thumbs up if you would kindly, because sometimes we don't know if people can hear us. And we have a super serious question that we we need help with. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Um, but first, I want to talk about one of the most common frustrations that we hear from our people, who we work with, who feel like they spend a lot of time working out but don't see any results. Right. So I just turned 40 recently. This has made me think a lot about my own health, and my exercise, my activity, quite a bit differently, and what I want and need from my body and for my body, have really changed quite a bit. And that means my exercise, and my habits, need to be based upon those needs and what I want. So, um, and also, we've learned a lot, recently about exercise. Like the research has given us a lot, and exercise and energy pathways, metabolism, the science of exercise. And I know I like to get deep into that stuff, but we're not going to. I'm going to refrain today. Um, but this is really really different now, I think. And for example, the conventional thinking, for a long time, has been that if you want to lose weight, you need to do cardio, cardio, cardio.
Yep.
Right, Rebecca? Yeah, you're. I know you're on board here because we've done this recently, or
Yep.
we've been over this recently. But the advancements that have happened in understanding the body and exercise, haven't really like made it into the light. And I don't know if it's like just a question of trainers trying to keep their secrets and not let them get out. And so I don't know, maybe some trainers and coaches will be super pissed at us for, um,
Oh, well,
talking about the truth. But whatever, they can deal with that. So yeah, those things just aren't really common knowledge yet, and I think they should be.
totally. And both of you know this, but I've changed how I approach exercise completely, and it has made the biggest difference. Absolutely the biggest difference.
Yeah, how so?
I no longer am counting my cardio minutes and making sure that I'm doing really, really super hard cardio to get a workout. So I'll tell you a little more later what I'm doing to target where I want to work out.
Yeah, that's good. This is honestly one of those things that we see a lot of pros. Brandon was just talking about other trainers and coaches, and uh, whether or not they're keeping those secrets to themselves or what, they're also they're getting it wrong too. But like you were just talking about, Brandon, the conventional thinking, it's strong because it's so laid in to our belief systems.
Yeah.
It's hard to break. Even when we logically know this isn't really necessarily something that we have to do cardio, cardio, cardio every day, an hour a day on the elliptical.
Right.
But today, I think we're going to be a little bit more of a free for all, right? Like we all kind of know exercise at this point, and we're all on fairly similar pages. So let's dive in and maybe debate a little bit. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put our bond to the test. Uh, so yeah, let's talk about different kinds of exercise, huh?
Hmm.
Let's start out with cardio,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Cardio is great. Um,
Yeah.
it's important. I don't want to like come in here and totally like, dump on cardio, like never do it again. It's important. Yeah, it does burn some calories. It helps lower our cholesterol. Preventing or even managing health conditions like and you can talk about all the health markers, right? Hypertension, blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease. It's
Yeah.
important to strengthen your heart, right? Sleep patterns, right? Lower stress. What else? Like, I mean, there's just a million things. Increasing energy, boosting the immune system.
Yeah, but
Um,
I think it, like summarizes almost all exercise in general, right?
right. So I think,
Hmm.
let's maybe
Sequence.
jump into that in a little bit as well as we go down the list. Right, but those things are just like kind of scratching the surface, right? We've talked about the psychological and emotional benefits of exercise as well, quite a
Right,
bit.
right. And like me having that significant passion for mental health, I'm just gonna like I want to jump in and highlight some of those things, right? Like if you
Yeah.
do just, as cardio, like they say 20 minutes a day, right? If you do less than 2% of your day, which is about 20 minutes, maybe a little give it a little take a little bit here or there. Um, but you do it, you go out and you do it purposefully. This doesn't mean like walking back and forth from the car at the grocery store. That doesn't count. You have to do something purposeful
Meandering.
for yourself.
Darn it.
Yeah. Um, but so like there are a ton of extra or of mental health benefits that come from this, including
Yeah.
like reducing stress, increasing your energy. But it also helps to reduce anxiety, depression, and as well as many other issues that come from mental health. And you know, I've said it a million times before. We are made up of a body, a mind, and a spirit, or a heart. Um, and if one of those pieces are suffering, then the others are going to suffer as well. And similarly, if one of those feels a win, if they feel a success, if you go to the gym and you work your body out, that's good. The rest of your being, your body, your mind, and your spirit, they're all going to feel that success.
Yeah. There's definitely a
Absolutely.
center.
It's threefold though. You can't just go do one of them every single day. You got to do. I really believe you got to do all three every single day.
100%.
And I can absolutely attest to the effects exercise has on your mental health. Up until recently, I hated working out, so much so that I made sure to do it as little as possible. But secretly, I was like, oh, please, one day let me wake up and just love working out. And, that doesn't happen. But I started showing up to boot camp twice a week and slowly got to where I am now. And I really feel it when I don't work out. Last week, there was a 5-day stretch, the longest I've had in a long time, where I didn't go without a workout. And I was grouchy and irritable. And then, of course, I didn't sleep well at the end of the day. So, definitely see the results of a decrease in my activity. And I felt like crap. Who wants to be around you when you're grouchy and moody and you feel like garbage just because you didn't get your workout in?
That
That's my day,
is
by the way.
totally it. Like I really,
Right?
really relate to that. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I start to feel like shit if I if I don't move my body, for a day or two. And it really does. It only takes like a couple of days at this point.
Yeah.
And and there are exceptions to that. I think that's kind of important to note too. Like, every once in a while my body is like, hey, dude, it's enough of that. Let's take a little time
That's
off. And I literally don't feel like exercising or
Yep.
hitting the gym or something like that. I'll be honest, I haven't been in a gym in like 6 years.
yeah. Wow, man, that's good. That's honestly, though, that's like how I'm feeling. So last week, if you were here and you watched, you saw that I was coming. I was driving down to Florida from Michigan,
Yeah.
and today's our last day here. But I have not been sleeping well, and I know it's because I'm not getting enough like purposeful exercise. Like we're
Mhm.
walking places, and that's great, but it's not like I don't know.
Right.
I'm sleeping like crap. I'm a little moody. I'm a little irritable, and Yeah, so here we are. So this is actually yesterday. Will say that I did. There's like a workout down here, like a it's free workout center down at the park on the beach here, and I went down
Mhm.
there and made sure I did some stuff because I knew I was like really struggling. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you're gonna get back in that car, right? And drive out, or are you
yeah. Well,
flying home?
fortunately, we fly home. Like we
No, there
drove
you
their
go.
car down here, then they're flying us back, which is fantastic. So
Nice.
it's
Well,
about a 2.5 hour flight versus a 24-hour drive.
Well,
but
getting on an
still,
airplane with a bunch
yeah.
of strangers, you don't have to worry about any anxiety right now at all. So definitely don't make sure you get your workout in to reduce your
Right.
anxiety.
Yeah. See.
So a point I really want to make, I don't know, it just kind of popped into my head here, but I feel like a lot of people are here because they want to lose weight, right? That's
Hmm.
that's what a lot of people come to us for.
Lose weight, feel better, be comfortable with who they are. Yeah, I'd agree.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And of course it goes deeper than that. Right. But if you
Definitely.
ask somebody, that's almost always the first thing they say.
Hmm.
Right. And yeah, we dig deeper. Right. We get way deeper. So I'm not gonna call out any names there, but yeah, deep, 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 deep. But but I feel like a lot of people come, that's what has people showing up sometimes, and
Hmm.
I also feel like we've been told for years that cardio is the only way to lose weight, and um, but cardio really may not be burning as many calories as people think. It might not be bringing them toward that goal, and that's
Mhm.
unfair, right? Low intensity, steady state cardio, like we're talking about here, okay,
Going to the
burns it.
treadmill for an hour, hitting the elliptical.
Yeah, yeah, that stuff, right? You go to the gym and it's like rows and rows and rows of machines. Not because people love those things. People freaking
They
hate
hate
those
them.
things.
They believe they
Stupid
have to do it.
devices. They think that they've got to be on that thing
Yeah.
all the
Hmm.
time. And that sucks because one, they're torturing themselves, and two, they're not even getting closer to their goals. Like so wrong, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I will put it out there. Like I do know there are people who just love it. Which, if that is your thing, like good, more
Totally.
power to you.
Yeah,
Absolutely, please do that. And
100%.
I think we're going to dive into some of that in a little bit. But
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. Because that's definitely a key. But yeah, low intensity, steady state cardio burns far less calories per minute than something of a higher intensity, or like resistance exercise or something like that. Even
mhm,
lifting
mhm.
weights, right? And I know a lot of people hear that and they're like, no, cardio burns calories. It does,
Hmm.
but this is the science behind this. I won't get super deep, but this is because it uses the oxidative pathway or the aerobic pathway, energy pathway, which is a much slower metabolic process. So again, I'll refrain from getting super deep into the
I was going to
science.
say, I don't know what any of that means,
I
but I
was
trust
like, hey, I
That's
was like,
all
here
I'm
we go.
doing.
I'm glad you stopped yourself. Good.
aerobics. Are we doing aerobics?
All you need to know is that it burns calories slower. So if you can, and here's a rule of thumb, if you can do it steadily without breaks for like an hour at a time, your body's goal at that moment during that time is to conserve energy. It is doing
Yeah.
everything it can to make sure that it is holding on to calories to keep you going as long as possible, because you're telling your body, hey, we're going to be doing this stuff for a long time. And your body's like, okay,
All
well, I'll
right.
make sure I don't dump all of our energy into the first 5 minutes. Not what you want, right? You don't
And
want
the
to
more you
conserve
train your
energy.
body to do something like that, we adjust over time.
Right.
And so that's where endurance comes from, which is fantastic. It's good to have endurance. It's good to have that energy.
Yeah,
But
great thing if you're training
if
for a
it's,
marathon.
yeah, exactly. If it's counterintuitive to what your like long-term goal is, it doesn't really make sense to do.
Yeah, shouldn't
Hmm.
be the only thing you're doing, right? Certainly. Unless, again, you're training for something really specific. So you're much better served by lifting weights, or some other sort of resistance exercise, or doing something like a hit workout, right? Intervals of high intensity that are like
Right.
dumping calories into the fire, because your body's like, oh God, we need energy to jump. We can't
I
do
like
that for a long time. We're going to dump those calories in there. It's a very, very crude explanation.
I like it. Throw those calories in the fire. Burn them.
burn, burn the insert Monty Python and the Holy
Perfect.
Grail scene. So Nick, yeah, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So like, if we're gonna jump in and kind of start moving some things, right? So you might as well start doing things like resistance, like at least tie it in, right? Resistance exercise has honestly, like you went through that list earlier, and it has almost all the same benefits, if not all of them and more.
Right.
Except, you end up burning, like you were saying, you end up burning more calories at a higher rate, and you're also building more muscle, which means your metabolic rate is increasing, which means your metabolism is increasing. And for maybe there are other things that you're looking for, like bone density. Um,
Ooh.
Also, like a huge perk of resistance exercise, which I love, and I love to tell people who are like so against it. Like if you're sore, you can burn up to an additional 300 calories the next day just because you're sore,
Yeah.
which is a
Yeah.
nice perk for a lot of people. Like that's a lot. If you're sore 5 days a week, that's about a pound right there. I think I can't do math that well, but we're getting close to it if nothing else.
Yeah, that's something to talk
Actually,
about.
at least 2/3 of a pound, I would say.
I
That's a
like it.
good way to look at it. I'm sore a good 5 days a week, thanks to you, Brandon.
Yeah,
You're
there you
welcome.
go.
So maybe what I'm getting from you guys is not maybe not so much about what exercises you choose to do, but how you go about doing them. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, yeah, you could definitely say that, certainly,
Yeah,
because yeah, like lightly jogging on a treadmill or something is one thing. Hauling ass on a treadmill,
Totally different.
for going as fast as you can for 20 seconds at a time, totally different, right? They're both running.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I don't again, I don't want to get like super sciencey, but know that you're getting a lot more bang for your buck calorically, right? Again, it depends on your goals, what you really want for your body and from your body. You're getting more bang for your buck calorically with something other than that low intensity cardio, and you can use those same movements but just do them in a more in a higher at a higher intensity. um,
Gotcha.
so
So
another
what do you
thing,
mean by hit for people who don't know what the heck you're talking about? Because
yeah,
6 months ago, if you said you need to do hit or this, I'd be like, what the heck are you talking about? Hit? What do I need to hit?
sure. And it's pretty subjective, right? So hit just
I'm
stands for
glad you
high
said this because I
intensity.
was going to bring it up.
Yeah. High intensity interval training, very different for me than it is from the next person who might be starting out, right? I've been doing this like forever. Um, so uh, it can basically be either a cardio or resistance exercises, right? You can still, and lifting weights in a way like essentially is hit, it is a high intensity interval practice,
Mhm.
right? Because you're only doing it for as long as you possibly can before it becomes impossible, or you choose your
Your
interval by
altitude.
time or how many reps, whatever. um but yeah, anything you're performing at a rate that you can't sustain for more than 3 minutes at the higher end. I mean, that's the higher end.
Mhm.
Usually more in the like 30-second range, something like that, or even lower, right?
Mhm.
Without requiring rest. So again, this burns way more calories per second because of the metabolic need. Um, like you said, Rebecca, it is. It's more about how you perform the exercise than the intensity, right?
Mhm.
Right. I'm glad you said it's subjective. Like it basically means like where you are at your point and your
Totally,
abilities, right? So like we're about to get into something called the RAD method, and we'll dive into that a little bit. But
totally.
um, like it's different for everybody. That's essentially what Brandon's saying.
Right.
Because you can do a walking hit as well. You can do a walking hit routine
Yeah.
that just breaks up the your pace as you're walking, and that can be very different from somebody else who's training to do something very specific. So that's why it's subjective. It's why it's subjective as it is. And I also think it's really worth uh, putting out there that that so the people that I work with, like in person, have a lot of times they have specific like requirements, like they've had an injury or they have uh, constant
Mhm.
pain. I apologize. There's a plane going overhead, so if you hear that,
It's all
apologies.
good.
Um, but So things like HIIT doesn't necessarily work for them right now, but 6 months from now, like after we've attempted to manage the pain, after we've healed the injury, then it's something we start to work into, but it's in different ways than what we generally think of as HIIT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how often do we say that to people, right? Like, we've got to work where you are, right? It's not like we hand over like some cookie cutter HIIT workout to somebody like, do this HIIT workout, and they're like, and like, it's impossible, right? Like they might be working on getting up and down from the floor still. That
Right.
might be an intense exercise for them, right? Or body weight squat might be a really like hard, difficult exercise. Doing 5 or 6 of those might like might wipe you out where you are right now. And that's
Yeah.
totally okay as
Yeah.
long as you do it. And you do it and you work on it, and you can
Exactly.
build it up.
And
We've
and
seen-
that's exactly what we like. That's exactly what we're here to do, is to help, inspire somebody to do the things. That's why I wanted to like really make a note. Like, it doesn't have to be the most intense thing you can think about.
Right.
No,
Right.
it's just a little bit more intense than maybe you're familiar with right now.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, and I
push
think
yourself.
that
It's
word
basically
intensity.
pushing yourself just a little bit,
Yeah.
bit more. Basically, the point is, you've got to determine individually what is best right now, and where to start, right? And so that's kind of so the RAD method, we teased it out in the description, and I mentioned it a minute ago. The RAD method kind of does that for you, and I'd like to share that with everybody. Basically, it's questions. And it's questions based on things that an individual might want, like, or they have at the moment, like the results that they probably want from exercise. So when I used to, be big into personal training, that's what our sessions were about. It was about results. Now it's much more about, what do they enjoy doing? What are their abilities? And then what are the results that we're looking for? So it's almost, different. But RAD sounds better when it's results, abilities, and the things that you enjoy doing, RAD. But like I said, it's really just questions. So basically, you want to ask yourself, or have somebody ask you, because it gives you from a different perspective, what do you want to get from your exercises? What is it that you're looking for? Why are you doing these exercises? Because we all have different wants and needs. Like personally, I want to continue to reduce my body fat, and a big part of it, like we were talking about earlier, I want to keep my mental health happy because of my past struggles. I need to keep myself happy and moving forward in a forward energy. So yeah, Brandon, what about you? What are the results that you're looking for when you're going towards your exercising? What are your results? What are the ones that you're looking for?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I just turned 40, and also, working in physical therapy for as long as I did, just like it's like the doomsday clock is always like ticking when you're around that all the time, and you see what happens to bodies as they age if you don't take care of them. So yeah, I'm thinking a lot more about my functional strength and mobility. I want to make sure that I'm able to move, and continue to do some of the things that I love to do. I love being outdoors. I love backpacking, and I need to be able to, to handle some rough terrain. I definitely still have, some more superficial wants for sure. I want to build muscle. I want to burn fat. I want to be a hot dad.
Really?
But I do. I want to be able to stay active into my later years. That's my number one. So it doesn't make as much sense for me to do stuff like, hamstring curls or like super isolated exercises, because that's not going to bring me toward my goals at all. Right. Those multi-joint movements are much more important to me as I get older. Since we're going around the room, Rebecca, what about you? And I kind of already know this, but for our viewers and our listeners.
I'm listening to you guys and I'm feeling very superficial, but I am always trying to be the healthiest version of myself. But I currently am on a mission for some rock hard abs. I am really, really, really trying to sculpt my entire body. But right now I'm focusing most of my energy on just two very specific areas, my glutes and my abs.
Totally. I have a question, actually. Yeah, revenge abs. I have a question about that, though, because that's really different from what your goals were 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
Yep.
Your goals and your exercises have changed so much. You just said it the other day, right? I think like just yesterday, you were like, I could not have done this 6 months
Oh, yeah.
ago.
Totally. Yeah, there was no way in hell the workout that my husband and I did yesterday, I could have done 6 months ago. And, you know, focusing on those areas. I really want to sculpt my body. And now that I know how to do that, I'm not worrying about getting my hour, my 45 minutes of cardio in every day. I'm going, what do I want to do? I want to sculpt this area. So I'm going to make sure to do an extra concentrated Tabata on this a couple days a week. And that's what I do.
Totally. And it's awesome.
It is kind of awesome. I feel like a badass. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, yeah, almost there.
Right. So yeah, your exercises have changed based on your abilities and your needs, your wants for your body.
Perfect segue. Your abilities, right? So this is the second part of the
See what I did there?
So this is basically like you're questioning, where am I in my journey, in my life? What can I do? What is this? What am I able to do? What are my abilities? That's simple.
Right now.
Right? So what's realistic for you right now? Is it super low impact, or is it something that you can push yourself a little bit more?
Totally. I feel like you were talking to me.
Right at you.
Yeah, my joints are definitely reminding me of my past sins. I grew up riding a skateboard and riding BMX and jumping off of stuff. I also had I jumped over a few fences in my time. I won't tell you what I was running from, but exercise is really changing for me. Yeah, I don't lift heavy like I used to either. That's another one. Like I challenge myself, but I don't lift, like I'm not pushing that like 1 rep max thing anymore, because I'm like, my shoulders like, any minute now you're gonna regret this. So no, it's don't do that. But for most people, this is about getting back into things. I shouldn't say most people, a lot of people getting back into being able to do what you once were doing or used to be able to do.
Right.
That really requires patience.
Yeah, that's going back to what you were just asking me about with the workout yesterday. The fact that I couldn't do that 6 months ago. In fact, I think our very first workout that we did, you, my husband, and I, was very low intensity compared to what we do now. And I just would breeze through that. But I used to be a professional dancer, like a semi-professional dancer. And to go from that to overweight and inactive, trying to start back out, my goal when we first started talking was, I want to work out 2 or 3 days a week and make sure I get that in. And now I'm kind of moving in the opposite direction of Brandon. I'm lifting heavier and heavier weights, trying to build my strength. However, at the same time, I am kind of getting older, and I do have some things that I really need to be conscious of from my dancer days and make sure that I don't push myself, because I have some delicate hip and knee joints that they took a little bit more thrashing than other parts of my body when I was dancing. And I have to be aware of that those things are still there. So not to push myself too hard in those areas.
Totally.
Yeah. That's really good insight. That's basically, it's kind of like you discover that it keeps evolving over time, right?
Yeah.
And it's important to continue to challenge yourself concurrently and moving forward throughout your life. Otherwise, things get stale, things get boring. No one likes, think about like stale taco shells or stale chips. Like nobody likes a gross, stale, spongy thing,
Soggy.
Right. So anyway,
I feel like you're gonna say a potato any second.
We're done with that. We're done with that.
Okay.
Behind the scenes, we talked about the evolution of corn the other day, everybody, just so you're aware. Anyway,
moving through all the foods.
It was like a good hour discussion too. Anyway, so the last part of the RAD method, the D part of the RAD method is basically what you are doing, right? And what that comes down to is, what do you enjoy doing? And this keeps it from going stale. That way, Like a lot of people, I know a lot of people don't like the traditional notion of what is working out.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Totally.
That's okay. There's a ton of other different ways to do it, including just going for a walk. But it's big, enjoying what you are doing, what you like to do. That's really, really big for uh, becoming successful and keeping things fresh and exciting, and then continuing success and finding those things that are challenging to keep it from going stale.
Mhm.
100%. Yeah, I mean, what what happens when you have to force yourself to do something over and over and over again, right? We talk about it all the time, right? The willpower battery is like a battery. It's
Mhm.
finite. It will run out. I don't care what anyone says because we hear it all the time. Like, you know, gut it out, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, blah, 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 blah. That only works for so long. And that is backed by science. And again, I
Yeah,
won't get into
and
it, but we know
we're definitely
this
not that type of encouraging, right? I mean, like
Mm-mm.
there was a point in time in my personal training career that I was a pusher, um,
for sure.
but I'm definitely not anymore because I know it doesn't work. It won't. You might get results, today,
Yeah.
but in 3 weeks from now, I'm not going to see that person in class because I
Yeah.
burned them out and they don't
Yeah,
Right.
like it.
that was something I had to get used to as a young trainer as well. I was used to working with athletes, right? And
Mhm.
that's the name of the game, right? Push beyond your boundaries,
Mhm.
dig into the suffering and embrace it. That is so far away from where we are with that person who's coming back from an injury or someone
Yep.
who's like, oh my God, think about that. Or someone who's getting into exercise for the first time, right? You would just never do that to somebody. And but that's what's out there, right? You like, yeah, you can get free workouts on YouTube if you want to get the
Sure.
crap kicked out of yourself, right? And that's only going to last so long. Or there's the 6 week challenge thing, right?
Ugh.
Eat boiled chicken and Brussels sprouts. I always say that, I know, but and torture yourself for 3 hours a day for 6 weeks. Yeah, you're going to lose some weight. Most of it's going to come from stress, um,
And then it's gonna come right on back as soon as you stop
misery,
eating
Then
boiled
you're
chicken
gonna
and
double
broccoli
it.
3 times a day.
right? Because that's not happening forever.
Right.
Okay, that's it. We want. I mean, if you know us at all, we're all about sustainability,
Yeah.
right? We want you to have permanent solutions, and torture is not a permanent solution. Don't torture yourself. And there's a caveat to that, of course, right? If you just hate being active, right? I really don't, know what to
Might be
tell
hard.
you. We gotta find that thing
Yeah.
that is the
What's
the
your thing?
lesser of the many tortures, I suppose.
Yeah, and like that's why I keep bringing up the point of walking. Walking is super super powerful for a lot of people because they might just say, you know what, this is all I want to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong.
Totally fine.
It would
Totally
be good to change it up a little bit, maybe take a different route, incorporate a hill, or
walk up
just
a hill.
speed up a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't have to be something that sounds. If it sounds brutal, chances are at the moment it might be brutal.
Yeah.
So start small. Start where you're comfortable, and then amp it up. But don't sit around and wait a year to amp it up either, because you know
Mm-mm.
that's when things will get stale and you'll fall back off the wagon.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So, guys, what's the action? What can you do today to make progress and feel like you know what you're doing?
Mm. I say it's in the questions. I think
Rad.
that, yeah,
It's
rad. I feel like I need some like mirror Oakleys.
totally.
Yeah, I do. I think it's in the questions. That's the place to start today. If you're not sure where to go, or maybe you're like, you are one of those people that we talked about earlier, who just doesn't, who's doing the things and not getting anything back, right? Um, Ask those questions. What is it that you want for your body? Right? Know what is realistic for your body to be able to do right this moment. What can you do right now? Not 6 months from now, or not what you used to do. That's a hard one for me. But now, today, what are you able to do today to challenge yourself? and then know what you enjoy so you'll continue to do it. One of our favorite clients, Nick, she never set foot in the gym. I don't think she did a single workout, but she hiked her ass off because she loved hiking. And so
Yeah.
that's how she challenged herself. She was
Literally
like,
hiked your ass off. Literally.
yeah, yeah,
Lost
like literally,
inches and inches. Yeah.
yeah, you're not joking. That was really like the goal, and she
Yeah.
literally did it.
And she did great. Yeah. Anyways.
And it was fantastic, but that was her currency, right? She was
Yeah.
like, she loved hiking, she loved doing it, she could do the heck out of it and not feel like it was a burden. And she would set goals up for herself, like, I'm gonna hike to the next gate, the next cattle gate, and she would send us pictures. um and
Awesome.
yeah, it was so fantastic. But even that had its like inertia at the beginning, and I want to point that out. Even doing things that you love sometimes, like we're like, we're tied to what we used to do or how we used to do things, and we have to get past that and just go like, all I got to do is get out the door, or whatever it is. And I think that's super, super, super important to just
Dirty
get over that hump. You'll get back there eventually. You'll get back to that point.
Mhm.
That's dirty action, man. That's definitely
Dirty action, totally.
Dirty action.
Yep. But know what you enjoy, so you'll continue to do it, and hopefully that aligns with with your other two answers. But it might not, and you might need to reconcile those things and kind of compromise a little bit. Nick, maybe you have a different action step.
no, I think that was good. Actually, I would encourage everybody to just rewind this just a little bit, like 2 minutes, and just listen to what Brandon just said. Like, what
Mhm.
results do I want? What abilities do I have right now? And what do I like doing? And if you can take a minute to just answer each of those questions from that RAD method, right? RAD, just take a few minutes to write those down, even because there's huge power in writing and setting an intent and understanding, why those things are important to you. Um, Actually, we have another video that's based upon all what is your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are your goals important? And I think that would go really well, like hand in hand with those RAD method. And that one might take a few extra minutes because it's really diving deep into what who you are, what you want, and how you can be motivated and how you can stay motivated. And
Yeah.
you got to figure out your why and why those things are important to you. And how is it going to change your life?
Yeah.
And I think that was that episode title was called Three Things That You Can Do to Change Your Life. I'm not sure, but basically it was about diving deep into your purpose, into why those things are important and making those things change. So
Totally. I actually thought
I
you were
would
talking
encourage
about something else.
those. Yeah, I would encourage, spending a minute to answer the RAD questions, and then spending a little bit more time to really figure out why and how your life is going to change when you get those results. Why is it important that I have them, and how is my life going to change? Because when you have those things, then you can be much more motivated to move forward.
Totally. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I actually thought you were talking about the launch exercise.
Nope, that's coming though.
That's coming. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's dropping it right now. We got something exciting for you guys. I was like, you sneaky. how, how about Rebecca? How
No,
about
you
you?
teased it out. I feel like we have to tell them, but no, you have to wait.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say that everything both of you said is great and exactly where I would start. Think about the questions, and as Nick brought up, the why and the how. I especially coming from experience, I have to force everybody to think about how it's going to change your life. And I'm going to cheat a little bit here because this is actually more like step 1.5. But once you figure out all the answers to those questions, I would say that why you want it is ask yourself who is going to help you on that journey. I have had, no lie, pictures of sexy women in bikinis splattered everywhere in my house since 2012, just as motivation to get back into shape. My brother-in-law, when he came to visit, commented that my husband was very lucky to have these pictures everywhere. And that was what I thought was going to motivate me, but it didn't work. But the one thing that I tried that I never tried before that got me to the exact place I am right now, the place where I have permanent, sustainable solutions to be active. It doesn't feel like I have to force myself. It was finding the right who to help me out and to help me get there. And that who is you and you. So that's a good question for everybody. Who?
That's cute.
See what I did there?
Well, thank you. Because we're super, super proud of you.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to you guys. I am really in a better place where I do workouts that make me happy, that I enjoy doing. They're not torture. So it's not a big deal to go, okay, I got 30 minutes. I'm going to do a workout right now. What do I need to do? Boom, I got it. It's really easy now.
Well, you got me with that. I'm like completely thrown off now. So let's go ahead and finish up.
He's like, speaking of compliments, let's move forward. We don't take those.
That made Brandon uncomfortable.
Yes,
guys, if I always like to check in to make sure that this stuff, really makes sense and that you're getting it. Because we can get up here and talk and that's that's not what this is about. Again, we want you to have sustainable solutions. We're not here to drop sensational results and titles on people, and all you have to do is this booty lift workout and
here's a 4-week challenge. Here you go. Your life is solved.
And we do like these, like, I don't know, educational workshops, and we want to try to, we want to be motivating, and that's really what it's about. So please, let us know if this is making sense. Let us know if you have questions. I want to see those questions. You can drop them right here in the comments here if you're with us in the Facebook group. If you're listening to our podcast, please come and join us in the Facebook group. We have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on the rest of Facebook. I literally open my Facebook app and jump directly into this group. I don't even see what's going on out there. So the Facebook world, could very well be burning down, and maybe that's why people avoid it. And I wouldn't know because I'm in here with my people, getting support and supporting. I think that's the biggest thing. Come in here and please, be part of what we're doing here. Lift each other up and be lifted up. That's why we did this. That's why we started this. So, Nick, what do you think about next week's live, Nick? And
this is the super question that I put in the description. So we're changing things a little bit because we have actually quite a bit of feedback, and but basically, like, anybody who's out there, we would love to know right now, like, the two earliest things or most recent things that we've heard about is, how do I flatten my belly?
We hear that a
So
lot.
we can either do a talk on how to, maybe some secrets on how to eliminate belly fat, or the other one is, like, how do I get out? Like, how do I control my cravings better? How do I get out of a junk food rut?
That's hard.
So I would love to hear some insight. We're just doing a little bit differently, and if it goes well, we'll keep doing it. So let us know. I would love to have some insight from our listeners. So if you're out there, you might have to join the show or send us an email or whatever, or join the group and just let us know here.
Yeah, reach out. However, I mean, we're everywhere. You can message us. Yeah, we are. We really are. Please feel free to send us a message. You can send us a private message, and we are super happy to talk and give our time.
We don't use bots. We like, if you get a message from us, it's us. There's not a bot.
We are the bot.
Yeah, we're the bot.
We take a minute to be personable, make it real. So, because that's what we like. That's what we like, is developing relationships and a sense of community. And so we take a little extra time, and that's what we. Anyway, we should go.
It's time. Okay, we love you guys. Thank you for being here. I hope this was helpful. Again, ask the questions. Let us know, what you think, and keep coming back and lifting each other up. Okay. I love you guys, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.